like to formally welcome Yana to the Power BI Community Times in South Florida. Yana Berkovich is a program manager Power Platform at Microsoft. She's a fantastic professional. She has tons of experience in business intelligence. She speaks at different conferences, events, and user groups around the world. She's also an instructor, fantastic person as well. Thank you, Yana. Super excited with your visit today and this presentation about the visual guidance in Power BI. And when you're ready, take it away and tell us more about yourself.
Okay. Yeah, that was a little bit too much of introduction, but thank you so much for this. I wanted, okay, so first of all, let me try to share my screen. Let's not be too optimistic that it works right away. In this virtual world. I wish it was a great excuse for me to visit Miami because I really, and Florida in general, because I really love that side of the world. I've been there and I love salsa dancing, and last time in Miami was simply a blast. So just I wish that was not a virtual world and we could all be back healthy and normal again, and I hope it's going to happen soon. So just for that. Yes. And today I will be speaking about visual guidance for Power BI. I would like to encourage participation when I will stop for questions or other things. I am not sure if I'm going to monitor the chat, but I will do my best to do that. So let's see if we can continue. So first of all, my picture in large. Okay, okay. Should have fixed that one. So I'm a PM program manager in Microsoft. That means that I please speak in-person meeting. Okay, I thought it's already about how I'm talking too fast. That's usually my first feedback. You're talking too fast. So I'm program manager in Microsoft. That means that I manage a program, surprise, surprise. And the program is instructor-led training. And before the exploration of the data visualization and visual guidance for Power BI, what we are going to do is to explore what is instructor-led training and where can it find it, and when can you find it. I know it's a fantastic beast, so we need to find it. All my contact information is right here. You can find me on LinkedIn, on Twitter. I am usually responsive. Sometimes it takes a day or two, but I am trying my best to answer to everybody always. And of course, my email. What I do is in those for Power BI is for aka.ms PBI training, and of course, Diet Dashboard in a Day. For those of you, anyone who took course Dashboard in a Day, just by raising your Teams hand. No takers. Okay. Maybe. Okay, we have one team. We have one. Okay, Aaron, thank you. And more, even Polly, Mike. Okay, nice. So I'm glad that Valeria, so I'm glad that you guys took Dashboard in a Day. Dashboard in a Day is a course that every month is getting a new content because Power BI is a tool that is changing very quickly. So we'll talk about Dashboard in a Day in a few seconds, but we'll first start what are the options to begin your training. So the options are ILT, instructor-led training. Of course, it's first because, I'm here. Then you can do the self-paced training. You can do certifications. You can do training in the organization, or you can do videos. So all of that has a specific route in Microsoft, in Microsoft sites that you can go through. So of course, for self-paced learning, it would be Learn. This would be the best way for you to go. For the certification training, it's also some of it in Learn, but what you need is to start from the certification itself. And the next one is, of course, organization inside your organization. Also, the organization can download one of our advanced training or create their own trainings, such as Avanade, for example, or other companies have got their trainings, and videos that you can find on YouTube. Everybody knows and admire Guy in a Cube, and of course, Patrick LeBlanc as well. And there are so many other options of video training that I would encourage you to do. But the first step should usually be with Dashboard in a Day. So for the continuous journey, we have even more options, which is Docs. And I really hope that you are familiar with the Docs platform. And today, when I am going to explain about visual guidance for Power BI, I will also try to touch on the subject of, okay, I listened to Yana for 45 minutes or an hour and a half, or how much time I have had. And now what am I doing with it? Where can I find all this content? And one of your most strong tools is docs that I hope that you will be able to utilize better. For those who know, just repeating the same, but for those who don't, it would be a great idea to know where to find other things. And self-paced training you can find on LinkedIn Learning, on Microsoft Learn, and on Coursera, edX, Udemy, you just name it. I was just wanted to flesh out there that many people are taking the courses from Microsoft Learn. This is the most suitable course to earn eventually the Microsoft certification. And I would encourage you to do that, or to do instructor-led training, which is what I lead. You can find all of them in this site, in Power BI Training, aka.ms or Diet. Let me now drag the right window in order for us to see this magical site. So this is the magical site. Most of you, or at least some of you, are aware of Diet Dashboard in a Day, and you raised your hands that you have already taken it. But there are other courses that you can download and train if you are a partner or MVP, user group lead. If you are MCT trainer and certified trainer by Microsoft, you can download this content and train your attendees. And if you would like to be trained, this is something that you can also find in one of the in one of the catalogs for the training and for Microsoft services that can be found in the store. So which type of training are available right here? So we have advanced visualization with Power BI. Some of the slides, not all of them, about let's say 25% of the slides that I'll show today are actually coming from the advanced data visualization for Power BI. And this is a course that we are renewing each month, each quarter, in order for you to get the most new and exciting things in data visualization for Power BI. Data modeling and shaping is another course that is very popular, and there are many more for more advanced users, such as a developer in a day and admin in a day. By the way, admin in a day, I'm publishing new version today, so all the admins in the crowd, stay tuned. It is going to be up in the air either tomorrow morning or sometimes during the day tomorrow. Okay, so this was a couple of minutes of introduction. Where am I with the slides? For instructor-led training. Now, I wanted to ask if there are any questions for instructor-led training. Yes, new admin of the day. Anything else? Not sure if anyone else asked before, but would it be possible to get copy of? Yes, there is a copy that's Cecilia already has a link. It's a little older copy. If you want, I can send Cecilia this deck as well, just to make sure that we are aligned, because the copy that I have online is a year old. And okay. Sure. So now we answer this question. Let's continue with our actual topic. So first of all, about Power BI community. This is another thing. Yes, Jay and ideas, of course. Share your ideas. So this is a Power BI community. We have got a Power BI tool is translated to 43 languages. There are 40 data centers. There are national clouds for US government, Germany, and of course China. They have got all national clouds. If you can see all the customers that we've got here, from UK government to HIPAA to PCI and so on. And this is certified to the tool Power BI is certified to work with Europe and also with the States, and has the most advanced certifications around quality control. But Power BI is not alone. It used to be a lonely child, but now it has brothers and sisters. And my cat, by the way, got himself a brother on Sunday. I'm still doing cat wars, but I'll get there. So Power BI, it was a little more friendly. We have got the Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agents that are part of the Power Platform family. And what we are focusing on instructor-led training is also the Power App family, not just the Power BI. So we have also things available, for example, App in a Day, Power Virtual Agent in a Day, RPA in a Day, and other in a day training part of this. All right, so Power BI basically drives the data culture. All data breaks down data silos as enriched data with intelligence. For everyone, create rich interactive data experience with AI-infused insights, and for every decision. Eventually, what we are trying to do today Fernando, just 2 cats, but I am on the way to become a cat lady, I know. So, eventually what we are looking to do today is to support the data-driven decision support process. That means what it means is basically having a decision or having the data work for you and see it in a glance. So one glance at the presentation, one glance on the report, and you can make a decision. And this is what we're gonna talk about today. This aspect of the Power BI tool and of the Power BI ecosystem, if you may. All right. So Polly had a question. Or she's just raised hand from before. Polly, can you unmute yourself or just put a question in the chat?
No.
Okay. And Valeria or Valerie, I'm sorry,
No,
I can't read.
Chewy also, I think he forgot.
Also from before. All right, perfect. Just make it sure. Okay, so our agenda for today is Power BI, which we just did. That's a good thing that I have the agenda because I forgot a very, very important, Valeria, no need to apologize. I just wanted to make sure. A very, very important user group additional that I wanted to publish here is Women in Power BI. I just gave a talk for Women in Power BI last month, and this is a group that is open only for women to have space for us to share. So I believe, Cecilia, you are part of it. If there are any other female attendees that would like to join us, and we are always welcoming women and allies. And you can find it in our very new and exciting new platform for user groups, Power BI user group, which you can sign into and become a member of several user groups. So this became not just visual guidance for Power BI, but also some of the community news, let's call it this way. So I put in the chat the link for the Power BI Women in Power BI user group. And no, we do not have to wear yellow dresses, although I've got one. So visual guidance, design principle, UI UX for reporting, and guidance specific for Power BI. So how does it work? Usually what we are doing with Power BI, I imagine for most of you, this is extremely redundant. However, I still want to make sure that we're going through this. We've got either on-premise source or cloud data source. We are connecting the data. We are importing the data, or we have kind of a live connection on direct query. We are doing the data shaping. We are creating our data modeling. We are checking data integrity, connections, and all of that. And then our focus is just beginning here. So if you take an iceberg and the whole iceberg is the Power BI, whatever is above the water is our visualization part. And this is about 20% of what we are doing with Power BI. And this is what we're going to talk about today. All this is 80%. That is what Power BI is. But it is important to know the 80% as well in order to make sure that you have something to visualize. And it is also important to get the visualization. Okay, I'm turning on live captions because this is one of the accessibility features that helps us out and also will help people who struggle with my accent or English is not their first language. For me, it's not the first language, and subtitles help. So you will have closed captions here as well. Okay, why visual guidance is even needed? So first of all, we would say that governance is not equal guidance. Those are two different things. With the guidance of the visual aspect, we can create governance policy. In your organization that you are working for or created, or with your speed. Yeah, I know, Fernando. I'm trying. With your organization that you are either working or created, is there a governance policy for IT, for websites, for... Come on, any chat? Or unmute your microphone. No, make me feel like we have met. Okay.
Yes,
Mike
of
Ford.
course,
No.
of course.
Yes, of course. Mike
Yes.
wishes it was. That's good. Okay, so there are governance policies. So governance policy is created not by IT, hopefully only, but is created in order to enable the business to work, is created by the business and IT together in order to adhere to business goals and not just to the requirements of IT. So just FYI. And visual guidance is also important for creating this governance policy inside the organization, because we know what are the visual I think what are the visual guidance that we are looking for to enforce it, to be included in our governance policy. Then we have also organizational culture and brand. We need guidance in order to support our brand, our culture. I can create nice pink reports, but I don't think that this pink is the color of Microsoft, the organization that I currently work for. So probably it's not going to work out. Intuitive UI, a report in a glance. We talked about it and we'll continue to talk about it in the entire presentation. So if this is one of the takeaway that I want you to take, why do we need visual guidance? In order to get the report in a glance. And data-driven decision support, of course, and minimize clutter, maximize interaction. We want people to interact with our reports, but we do not want a report that is extremely cluttered. Now, imagine right now, for just a second, I will not replace my background, but that I had behind me, instead of a couple of plants and the window, I had tons and tons of stuff, like all my dresses and the cats moving around and everything else. You would probably be focused more of what is the color for things that are going on behind me instead of what am I actually presenting. Same goes for the report. The less, the better. And the less, the more you can basically appreciate whatever is okay, the cat thing. The cats unfortunately were locked in their respective rooms because they misbehaved just an hour earlier. Don't even ask. Okay, so it is a self-service BI for Power BI, and everyone can do everything. And you can take a look at the data story gallery in order to see some of our more colorful and more adventurous, I would say, reports. This is a report that actually won on the category. They did it a couple of years ago, I think 2018 or something. There was a competition, the worst Power BI report ever. So, ta-da, this is the winner. And we can say it is the winner for several reasons. First of all, the first page is completely, well, okay, this is the welcoming page, but 2016, okay. So this is the welcoming page, but I'm not sure it adheres or conveys any type of information other than the topic of the report, which could be a little different. Additionally, on this page, the green page, I would say, the color is simply amazing. I mean, they needed to really dig in order to find something like this. And also an icon is missing, as you can see. So somebody did not do quality check and quality control. And fonts are very different. And there is actually checkbox in here. And I'm not always even presented that there is a checkbox in here because, well, I don't see the checkbox. So one of those things are the things that we are going to yes, it's like the Razy or Raspberry, how they say it, the non-Oscar prizes. So this got the opposite, but they created it in purpose, and it gives us a lot of opportunity to actually present what can go wrong with a Power BI report and how we can improve it. So I would like to thank the creators of this report. So this is the problem with some of our Power BI reports that might be a little bit too colorful. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the gallery and where did I finish this report from, I would like to drag the community galleries. This is where you can find it. This is the Microsoft Power BI community, and those are the galleries. There is a very important theme gallery. We will talk about it later. And this was from the data story gallery. And there is also COVID data story gallery, which is very, that was still is updating all the time. So in the data story gallery, you can see a lot of different visually appealing reports and a lot of important reports, and you can also get templates that you would like to use for your reports. I have here maybe 5 reports. Don't remember where they are. I submitted earlier. There are a couple of very nice games reports. The Olympic report was just here. Business sales report is something, for example, that many people use, and so on. And of course, I have fished that report from a long time ago, but it never ceased to amaze me. The most recommended one for games is Duck's Mission Impossible game. It was a beautiful thing that was created. So just FYI, look at it and see how things can be better. If we, for example, take a similar report to the green report that I have shown about entertainment, about something that could go wrong, a NFL fantasy football report is a very good example of how to do something similar, but a little bit better. Although there are also things that were done if you look at it from the business visual perspective, not so great in that report. And my internet seems to be giving up, so this is another thing that you should think about visually appealing report. Visually appealing reports that contain a lot of images, a lot of logic, can take time. So always prioritize if this is a report for your business, visually appealing report versus a report that might have a little less color or a little less pictures, but will be activated faster. So this is just an example how they could do still colorful and still less work-oriented and more fun-oriented, but make sure that they are still adherent to some of the design rules. Now, after this beautiful report, let's go to our next slide. And our next slide is about another thing that is basically in our mind, in our psychology, is why do we need the visual guidance? Is because this is, again, self-service BI, and because we are less attentive than the average goldfish. So in the year 2000, the average attention span of a human was 12 seconds. Now in 2013, and this is from Adobe blog, not even, this is from a different data source. Now in 2013, it was 8 seconds. I believe in 2021, it's even less, but I did not check. And a goldfish attention span is 9 seconds. So now if we go back and think about this report, we have 8 seconds and even probably less because in 2021 and things just got worsened with the flow of information and data that we are drowning in. In 8 seconds or even less, we cannot possibly understand what this report means and what this report says exactly. So this is another reason why to guide. The science behind all this is that we want to build a great visualization in order to do that, we need to understand the cognitive science. We have got the iconic memory, the short-term memory, and the long-term memory. And in order to be there in the iconic memory, it's pretty easy because it's just there, but you forget about it very, very fast. In order to keep the conversation, you need it. But so to do something long term, such as decision making, or to remember something for the long term, in order to present it in the next conversation, or remember it from our current presentation to the long term, it will take you a lot more effort to get there. Remember, the 8 seconds attention span, it's very hard to get there. So how are we sparking the short-term memory in order for us to get some kind of an insight from our report? And we have several ways to do that, and we explore them more in details both today and in the advanced data visualization. The first form is the proximity similarity. So things that are close and we can compare easily between them, they are better. So if you see those two bar charts and you see the M on the left side of the screen, with proximity similarity, you see the two not bar charts, the two bar graphs, and the two bars are one near the other, you can know approximately who is lower, who is higher. It's also sorted. And this is how you know which data point is higher than the other one. If they were not proximate, if they were scattered all over and they were not sorted by size, you would probably won't see it and won't be able to determine easily what exactly is the one. The next one is the continuity. You want, when you see continuous data and you can predict what happens, and you can also see the outliers of the data very easily. Like less than a second, you already understand what is the outlier in the first one. And in less than a second, you see that the second line, there is a different type of behavior, or there are different maximum points and so on. You don't need to even get and read all the details on the data scale and other things. You already see what you need to zoom in, where you need to zoom in order to look for what you are looking for in this data. For example, if it is seasonality data, it's very easy to see this is where the sales go up, this is where the sales go down, and so on. Figure and ground. So there is some, if you can see, there is the defense and the offense. This is another one from the visual story gallery, and something about football that I do not understand one day when I'm enough years in America. But the core here about this report is getting some different visual language, the language of football for people for whom it's relevant, and understanding what is going on there by basically applying the same principle. A very good example that I can understand too is the SWOT analysis. When we take a quadrant and we have got, everybody knows what every quarter of this quadrant means, and we are all can do the SWOT analysis for whatever business decision it is. So we can take the same quadrant and apply it to another aspects and to another business decisions. We don't need to explain and to rewrite everything, and people will already assume where in the quadrant they want to be and where in the quadrant they are, and what needs to be improved or what needs to be canceled or sold, or whatever they need, business decision they need to make in order to come from one point in the quadrant to the another point in the quadrant, or from offense defense in football. That's been beyond me. The next one is the symmetry. So if there is a symmetry of some kind in a graph, it's easier for us to understand where the symmetry goes to. The Gaussian bell that we all know and familiar with, it is very helpful for us to see something that is symmetrical, and then what is out of symmetry and what is not currently connected. And continuous symmetry. As you can see, this is one of the dashboards that we present during the advanced data visualization. We just say that we are creating this dashboard in order to create some kind of continuity and some kind of language that is internal in the organization. So we will have the financial data and the performance data, I believe, there in the same columns and rows. So for us, looking at it very in a glance and from afar, it doesn't look very meaningful. But if you are in a call center, for example, or in IT department that does repairs for the computer, you already know which quadrant you should be looking at, and you're always looking at this specific cell in order to see if things are better or worse. So I'm talking about less things on one page, less clutter, but in certain situation, such as this of the IT call center, we of course need more elements on our page. However, we are working already with an organization that already knows about this. So long memory lasts for a long time, and data needs to be in long-term memory to induce decision making. Otherwise, you just can't make a decision because there is more data that's coming in and more data that's coming in, and you would either use the last data or the first data in order to make the decision, which in either case would probably be the wrong thing to do. So I just explored some of the tricks that can trigger our long-term memory and help us to make decisions better just by changing our visualization, ordering them a little bit, and so on. This is what we are basically going to do later on. So sparking long-term memory, we need to have a clear call for action. Like, for example, the spikes in the in one of the symmetry graph. We use precognitive techniques to spark interest. So this is all the football player pictures and so on. We spark in the interest, but we are focusing on what is important. Offense, defense, for example, we spark in the interest. We are connecting to something that we are already know and established with, but we are putting the data layer that we need there. Use Gestalt's principle of data partners, of data pattern, and this is something we are going to explore more. Gestalt principles, this is something that from UI, UX design is familiar of, whoever build websites. They are basically live and breathe by those principles. We are kind of introducing them in the context of data visualization, changing some of the things a little bit, and connect dots using text or audio to tell a story. So if we want to add text, if we want to add other meanings in order to tell the story, this is exactly what I'm doing. I'm not just showing you the graph from self-consumption or showing you the slide for self-consumption, but I'm also talking about that, which will spark the long-term memory. So not everything can be always done just with the report in Power BI. Okay, with the background of this graph, oops, sorry about that. With the background of this graph, I just wanted to go to the chat to see if there are any questions because something is sparking there. Okay, football, everybody. Okay, so yeah, you guys will teach me one day. Any other questions? I think I knew about the data stories gallery, but I really should spend some time there again. Yes, Gina, I believe. I would encourage you to go and look at this, but also I would encourage you to go and submit your own data story. You can select anything. And just submit the data story there. There are probably tons of data stories about the Olympic. Submit another one. This is a great practice and a great thing to add to your portfolio one day if you need a portfolio to get a job, or it is very, very useful. Great for fantasy football. Where am I? What is this meeting about? Okay, so Chewy, it's about Power BI. All right, so this is what is storytelling. All right, you got promoted. Nice, Fernando. Probably a meme that I do not understand. You will give me the cultural reference at the end if possible. Okay, so this is what is a storytelling with data. This is yet another report. This is, I call it the purple report because this is my favorite color, as you can see from my nail polish and my cell phone. But in this case, this is completely useless because what I want to do is we see reports like this every day, and those reports sharing a common problems actually. Oh, great, Fernando, it's a great success story. That's awesome that you have a report submitted as part of the portfolio to get promoted. Yes, exactly how it's done. You're submitting reports, you're submitting things, and you get the promotion. Good job. Yay. So what you see here is a report that has several issues. So first of all, the background, and we talked about it in the green report as well. Second of all, we talked about symmetry. And you can see here that in the middle, you've got the gross profit by category, sales by category, sales unit price per category. All of them have different height, different frames, different color of title. And also, you do not even see the units that are on them. There is also, however, a very common mistake in this report. What is this report about? Just guess. What is this report about? Usually it works better in a classroom when you can actually answer, but you can unmute yourself. Sales. Okay, Chewy. Sales by product. Okay. Circles. Sales. Okay.
Margin, profits, that kind of thing.
Margin, profits, that kind of things. Okay, so something about sales. Yeah, Fernando, that's basically margin, process, that kind of thing, and something about sales. That's exact purple sales, like Purple Rain. Yeah, I got the reference. So something about sales. This is exactly the problem here, because there is no like theme. There is no answering a specific report, a specific question. Everybody knows it is about sales because sales is probably the word that comes here the most if you do a word cloud around this report. But there is no real what is it about in sales that we are reporting. Is this for the sales department? Is this a management report? Is this margins of sales? Is it profit? And so on. So this is the first thing that is wrong about this report. It's not focusing. We are having a lot of clutter here. And I think from everything here, from the color and lack of symmetry and lines that are not aligning and so on and so on, the worst part is about the fact that there is clutter here. While some of the figures are completely invisible, other figures just clutter in the space and there is no prioritization or understanding what it's all about. Okay, it's funny how easy it is to forget to put a title, theme, text, header. Exactly, Gina. It's very, very easy to forget about it. So we have here sales report. The title, 1, does not explain everything. 2, it's white with light pink. People mostly, especially when I present it in a projector in a room, people don't even see it because they really need to look for it. And it is not really understandable what we would like to convey with this report. So I would not add this report to a portfolio. Now, so most bad forgettable reports all have the same problems. And now I enlist all the problems, or at least most of the problems, every time somebody finds another problem that is in this report. And from those problems, you can use this specific list and colors. Yes, but I love this color, but this is a bad color for a background for a report. Missing a story, that's right, Fernando. Companions against target, how we doing, what actions have been taken. Yes, so this would be, I would not put it like as action being taken, but something like, no, sensitivity analysis. There we go. So we change one parameter and then what changes in the report. So this calls for interaction. It's a great idea, but this would be for an interactive report. It would be amazing to do some sensitivity report with parameters and filters on them. So what I wanted to say in this slide that for you now, I have a list of things for you to check in your report. Every time you are making a report and thinking, is this a good report? Is this a bad report? So those things will be checked. So no context. Do I have a context? Excessive precision. How many? Is it a million with 3 numbers after the dot, or is it 0.05 type of between 0 and 1 values that I need this type of precision? Incorrect measures. So which measures am I presenting and which measures I'm hiding? We all know that we can hide some of our measures and calculations in Power BI reports when we create them. This is the time to see what exactly is needed to be there. Incorrectly chosen graphs. So the donut graphs here are completely incorrectly for this specific goal because we have a majority of one category and some minorities, but of course, you can still use them. However, there are other graphs, the pyramid and other graphs that perhaps should be chosen differently. We have the mobile sales and that is like a percentage, and it looks like almost all of them looking the same. Only one is different. So maybe a different type of data visualization would have done much better for this specific report. Inaccurate encoding of data, poor layouts, and no or poor highlighting. So highlights in the report. There can be a lot of highlights like in the previous green report, or there can be no highlights at all right here. We are highlighting some of the titles, not all of them, but what actually is important? Is the mobile sales category here important? Is another category here important? Do we want to emphasize the fact that there are too many sales, not enough sales? What have we done here exactly? Also, understand what is the connection between your highlighting and the story you want to tell. Unnecessary pictures, unnecessary boundaries between the things, between the different visualizations. Remember, the less clutter, the better. If you can put something without boundaries, something without any kind of frame, that would probably be preferable. Use boundaries and use frames when they are needed, not when ever you want. And what else have we got here? So less is more. Yes, that is correct. Thank you, Cecilia. It takes an aggregation to spot at the first sight. What's the sales value? Yes, it takes a lot to spot what is the actual data. So maybe the sales value or the sales sum should be, Fernando, thank you, should be somewhere on top left or somewhere in the middle. Sometimes, so for us to know what is it, where is it going? Oh, I have another. Different time scales. Thank you, Gina. Y to D mixed if the other time frames. Yes, that's correct. We need to. That's a good one. And as I said, every time I present it, so there is something new. So the Y to D thing, understanding what is the time frame. Sometimes you have different time frames for the report, and you need to present. But in this case, for example, that is not true. You can present in a specific time frame and focus on that. In advanced visual training, so I'm again making a commercial, yay. We will learn that. So first of all, we are sparking the iconic memory, the long-term memory. We are muting the background noise. This is the first step for us to improve the report. Bright colors all over the report, thick borders everywhere, grid lines, too much precision with numbers, no highlights. So this would be the first thing that will take you exactly 15 minutes to do. And look how much better the report is. First of all, you see the title. You remove the visualization that tell you nothing, like the visualization with the percentage bar chart that was basically saying that everything is very similar. And we also sort the data. As you see, sales, mobile sales, and tablet sales by category, you can see them sorted out. And you can see also unit cost by category. This segment, this visualization didn't change, but now you can at least understand what is it doing here. So now we see that sales and profit by category report. Finally, we understand what we were trying to convey. Might there be other business questions that we want to answer? Yes, probably. So then we can have another report, another page. For me and for my company, it's very important to give the user some slices to filter easily. Yes. So as you can see on the right side of the report, there are category ID, product, and there can be other filters or slicers. So this would be great, but expose whatever you need. If we can go back to this report, if we can go back, PowerPoint, please. If we can go back to this report, you can see here that there are many things here, including by specific product, that is not really needed. And we want to focus on the ones that are actually make sense to us as a result of as a result of this report, as a result of what is important for the organization. So it's either the business questions or maybe some kind of a governance policy. For example, all financial reports need to have granularity of up to product ID, because this is important. We don't have many products and we want to really see what's going on there. So this is type of a business rule that can be enforced there. Next question with the birds. Great meme from one of the Disney movies that I have no idea which. Pie charts, because nobody loves pie charts, and Jay from the product team, the one with the Power BI blog, is going to kill me now for displaying a pie chart of any kind. Yes, you can have gauges here and gauges here instead with table with bar charts. That's a great example. I'm not sure, Brincy. No, man, sorry, I slaughtered your name completely. So thank you. This is a good, much better example. Yes, you can change the visualization. I added here pie charts. They are not optimal for this. However, you can still see that they are close to optimization, because you can see very distinct categories. You can understand which type are there. This is not the best visualization to choose, but sometimes also it's very loved by managers, so sometimes we give up. I'm not saying that focus on the pie charts here, focus here on the things that we have done. We have reduced the visualizations, we have reduced to which type of information we want to convey, and we have also reduced the number of colors, we changed the emphasis, we changed the titles and other things. We chose pie charts right here. But we, yes, a great creation that you have got there. Thank you for sharing, Briancy. I used pie charts here, but I do have the scales. I do have the right precision. So it's 6 million, 1 million, 2 million. It's not all the 7 figures with three figures after the dot. And it might be a difference of opinion at this point. Don't tell Jay again. So recommendation for successful UI. So there is a white paper about recommendations for successful UI and how to design your Power BI report. And this is one of the things that you can find in docs. We will go to this link right away, but it will take us forever to get there. So first of all, place users in control of the interface. Easy navigation. So this was just one page, but it has filters and other things that you can do in there. And if there is more than one, then you can add bookmarks with pages and easy navigation buttons. Remember one of the NHL reports, one of them, you could navigate by clicking on the specific, not actor, player name or picture and so on. So easy navigation is key. Be predictable, consistency. So if this is how your first report looks like, the next one should look like this and the next one. If this is one visualization, all of them should look very, very similar. Be acknowledging, where are we in the report? What are we doing? Which business question we are answering? Clear, concise fonts, titles, and consistency is the key here. For the Gestalt rules, they recommend up to 5 per fonts, sizes, types, everything together per up to 4, sorry, per page. Here we used to have a lot of limitations because the buttons were not the same as the charts, and if you have got custom visual, then it has completely different font and font sizes. Right now, things are very, very much standardized. So pick one font and go with it. Pick one of the fonts that is more square. So it is going to be helpful to read on screen, because hopefully you are not printing Power, and I've seen that, you are not printing Power BI reports. You can, but it would be losing some of the interactivity unless you are printing it on interactive paper. So make sure that you are using the fonts that are good for the reader, and also not too many font sizes and not too many font colors. Just keep to this color scheme that you have with your organization or with your governance policy. Avoid clutter, clean design, and be intuitive. But be intuitive is very hard to do. As my calculus teacher was saying, this is intuitive, maybe for him, not for me, trust me. So when you say about intuitive, and think about the audience. This was something that was in the chat. I forgot who said it. It was up in the chat. That first of all, think of the audience. Who is your audience, and what is going to be intuitive for this specific audience to see? Because for somebody who works in IT call center, it is not the same intuition as the manager of the company. It's not the same data granularity. It's not the same questions for business and operations that they would ask. And things that are very intuitive into operations, senior manager might find them completely confusing, because the last time he did this specific thing was about 15 years ago and things have changed. So always think what is intuitive, not for you as the calculus professor, but for your audience as the student who is really doesn't understand calculus the first day that professor comes and teaches it. So for this, you have the two circles: what you think users do, what users actually do, and testing helps to reveal what users actually do. Now, in one of the chats before, I believe Gina, but I'm not sure, that was mentioned that in their organization, they give the users filters and they give the users ability to navigate more. And this is exactly where testings come to life. I might say that, I only limit myself to those specific things that I give the user to configure. But our users, the users in Gina's, let's say, sorry that I'm using, but I hope it's okay. In Gina's organizations, they are used to more filters, or they need more for their business. And my report will fail in that organization. So always keep up with what is exactly clear to the users and what they're actually going to do with your report. Next slide. Can we do that? Okay, so clear insight. What are those reports telling us? Which business problem do they solve? So everybody do understand that this report is not really giving us any type of data. maybe to our computers, yes. And this is actually messages received and blocked from a messaging center, and this is the quality performance. Obviously, this report is completely nonsense for us. This is not something we want to do. On the other hand, on the left side, there is a report that solves a specific business problem. Car dealership walk-in customers. So how many customers and their demographic evaluation for a car dealership. So yes, it's not a perfect report. And again, pie charts. By the way, if there are two categories, I sometimes would use pie charts in clear cuts like this, just for the heck of it. So some demographic report of the car dealership. So this is for the audience, for our eyes, for the car dealership person that is sitting there and want to see, or all the car dealerships manager, because they understand this report, unlike the report on the right that is completely useless for anyone that wants to deduce any type of conclusion or make any kind of decision on the base of it. So let me see. We have any questions or anything else? Oh my God, there's a lot. In the font, just a second. Okay. Do you think that, okay, can share please, one of my creation. Okay, share please. Yes, it will be shared. Can this link be posted? Do you think same link to what? I believe to the presentation.
Yeah, the previous slide or the other one had a link on top to a white paper.
Yes,
That
okay,
one,
got
yeah.
it. Okay, so the white paper, I forgot to go through that. That is white paper, and it's a good thing that you guys reminded me. Visualization in Power BI reports, how to develop a good Power BI report. And I wanted to go through this one too, not just what we've got. It's in docs, and in here you can see all the recommendations, as the white paper says, of how to visualize better your reports. So things we talked about and things we did not talk about, because we have an hour and we take a whole day or even more to do that. So all the content is right here, and it is already, and it's always is updating. So if you see here, it was updated about a year ago, but all the subtitles of this are constantly updated. So this is when I say this is your story with Power BI and how you continue your story with learning Power BI. This is exactly one of the things that I mean here, is to go to docs and to work by the principles that are presented there. So I'm trying to do an abbreviation of some of the things that are written here, but I'm not going deep. And this is exactly where you are going, can go and deepen your broaden your knowledge. Okay, so this was about the link. I'm glad that you guys said that. Also, another docs essay we will get, and we'll talk about accessibility, but I would like to share this link as well in Power BI accessibility overview. It's not just about creating visually stunning reports and reports that are going to be enabling and are going to enable your users and your in your workplace to make the right decision, to do the data-driven decision support. But it's also about being inclusive and promoting accessibility. There are ways to make your Power BI report more accessible and more friendly to users that may struggle with accessibility issues. And from universal design to adhere to some standards, and in order to expect all the things that can be done. For me, one of the things that I learned only when I joined Microsoft is there is such thing as screen reader. I'm ashamed to admit that I only learned about it only 2 years ago. Screen reader basically reads every document for people who are visually impaired or have a problem to consume visual documents. And we need to do more. And for example, every presentation that we make, every presentation that we make is with accessibility to screen readers, so the screen reader can go and read whatever is the text behind the presentation. Especially in Power BI, when everything is visual, it's important to add alternative text to all your visualization, because those alternative text is what the screen reader is going to pick. Also, it's important to add meaningful titles, because this is what the screen reader is going to pick. And this way you are improving the accessibility to your report. And also some of the organizations require it, especially if you publish a Power BI report on the website. Now, we're supposed to talk about it later, but it's a great opportunity. So if there is something that I really want to convey is about how to make your report more accessible, and this is where you can find it. For someone, okay, so what is this one with Microsoft technology? Question, what do we think about the allow users to personalize the visuals feature? I love this feature and I think it's a great feature, but everybody who works in the organization, sometimes they don't love this feature because they want the things to be more general. And the one problem that I see with this feature is when IT needs to support this feature when something doesn't work for the specific user. This is when the specific user should be sent to learn dashboard in a day and other Power BI ways to configure their Power BI and show more interest. I think this is a great way to find your new Power BI leads in your organization. This is at least my thoughts, personal, not Microsoft position about that. So Gina, you don't like the feature? Okay, another one, avoid using acronyms or yes, or include reference. Not everybody knows what it is. SLA, KPI, ABC. Yes, I did SWOT analysis just a couple of minutes ago. Avoid as much as possible. And if you are not avoiding, explain. Another thing that I want to explain is about cultural references. For example, football references or baseball references or Hollywood movie references. We all assume that everybody knows this. You have no idea how many times I had to ask specifically, what is that meme? What is connected to? Are they laughing at me, or is this even available? But this is not a discussion for Power BI. This is a discussion all around when we are working in an organization, especially if there are immigrants such as myself there. But as long as things are explained, hell, I learned so many things during my time in Microsoft, and before that, just cultural references. For example, the spider pigs from Simpsons. It's a great clip. I really love the clip. So just one thing, I loved it because it was explained to me. Why are we talking about this, and why spider pigs is funny, and what is spider pigs all about? So as long as you explain, all is well. Agree. Acronyms are barriers to understanding so often. Yes, acronyms are barriers for understanding. You can always, always explain the acronyms, add a glossary, or add some kind of in your presentation or in your Power BI report, some kind of a place where you see SWOT means that, this means that. All right, I have no opinion on the personalized. Was looking for ideas. Okay, I'm glad that it's a good opinion. Question, is it okay to have a scrollable report? Yes, everything is okay as long as you're explaining it. Is it preferred to have all these visuals in one view? Yes, it's preferred. However, it is preferred to have in one view. However, is it allowed to have a scrollable report? Of course. If you have a scrollable report, you need to think to yourself, is my UI design friendly to all type of displays? Because you also need to do a mobile report for your report, a mobile presentation, mobile view, which may answer some of your question. Mobile view will almost always be scrollable, and because it's going to be per visual. And so this would be my answer about the scrollable report. It really depends on what your users are using, what exactly you want to include there. To tell you the truth, it's better to have several pages on your report and meaningful buttons to link your report from everywhere it needs to be linked. So the answer is, it depends. This is the best answer that is out there. Please don't duplicate your questions or we'll go timeout. Sorry. Please. Okay. Spider pigs. Okay. Yeah. So clear insight. What does our report tell on us? We talked about that. And what do they solve? What was the business question the report is answering? So basically, the most important thing is focus always on what is the business question this report is going to answer. If this is sales, what kind of sales? And if this is Simpsons, what kind of business questions we have got about Simpsons? And what exactly are we going to be talking about? And why is this report so important for us? And not Simpson, but I've got another report that I always show in my data visualization presentations. There we go. This is Japanese animation. For me, I prefer over the Simpsons, I prefer Japanese animation, anime for those who know. So this is, for example, a report, how many anime were rated by media type, how many anime were published in specific media. And we have slices for comparing them. This is a completely pink report, and it's just something that I did when I really just got started with Power BI, but just to illustrate that we can have an interactive report that answers a business question, which is which types of media were the most published of anime creations. And it's a completely recreational report, and we can do that as well. So this is another business question. However, I would not use this report in business, of course. Okay, report structure and building process. So data structure and data grain. So first of all, learn about how you build a report, learn about your audience needs, a rapid prototype, get a user feedback. You see those arrows that going back and forth? This is the user feedback that is really necessary. Remember, we don't really know what the user is going to do. Use the whiteboard or storyboard on plan proof of concept of some kind. Even in Power BI report, it's very easy to put stuff on the Power BI report. However, any type of wireframing or thinking about it beforehand can save you a lot of time configuring, for example, the sizes of each frame and so on, just to understand that you don't need all the frames there. Build visual in the tool and get the user feedback after it. So build the visual in the tool, build a Power BI report with the visual, get the user feedback. Maybe the user feedback will include the fact that you need to create a custom visual. This is a whole new story and a whole separate course of how to create custom visual. But in order to have a business decision that require you to have custom visual, you really need to justify that. And this is something that the user feedback will let you know. And start the visuals with sample data. Don't put all the data all at once into your report. Start it with some sample data and see how things go. Several things. First of all, some of the reports are very heavy, and then it takes a long time to load if you put all the data right at once. Not always you can optimize the data. Sometimes you're only the report designer. You're not the person who actually wrangled the data and gave it to you in the report. So this is what you are working with. So look at your data set. Sometimes your internet is slow, and then you have a direct query. So think how long this is going to take you. So this is one of the options, because you'll need to have a lot of visual changes on your report. It's a smart thing to start with some of the sample data in order to continue. Top questions. Just like WH questions for everybody who learned English as not in, I don't know what you guys do here in US, but abroad we start with the WH questions: who, where, what, how, why, and when. So for us, it's also how many for the how many visuals or how many audience have how many audience? Okay, who is the audience that we have got in there? Think about WH questions. Think about using a whiteboard before you start and put everything on the tool, and use a lot of user feedback. Navigation. You have several types of navigation. We have the tabs, we have the bookmarks and button, we have the tooltips, and we have the ribbon to navigate us. So in order to see if our navigation is intuitive, what is the back button? Number 1 or number 2? No, come on, just type in the chat. 1, okay, 1. Okay, I must tell you that, okay, Raj, thanks, that it depends. Both of them can be the back button. And I've seen both of them in so many reports that are used as the back button. So in order to know which one is the back button is basically up to you. You are deciding where is the what are you using, and the most important things is use the same back button in every single page that you are creating in Power BI report. Actually, you can have visual guidance inside your organization that will tell all of the organization to use the back button number 1 only. So this is one thing to think about. This is just the back button. There is also home button. There is also next button. There is also other navigation features. For example, we always want to get to the corporate website for some reason, or we always go back to the sales report no matter where we are. So this is the language that you are creating inside your organization. As long as you are consistent and as long as it's understandable for everybody, this is exactly what you should be using. Okay. So always communicate the same place, the page, where are we and how to get back. And this is expectations, and to make sure that you have continuity of the continuous of what is going on there. So Mike is agreeing with Fernando. What did Fernando said? Feedback could be dangerous sometimes. It has to be specified who is the process owner and people with the responsibility to give feedback. If not, you could have 1 year later a new hire giving feedback. What you think? What I think is this is one of the reasons we have got some kind of a product manager who knows exactly which feedback to listen and how to prioritize feedback and how to change the feedback. However, we also have business questions that are there to guide us. So if we have a business user that was hired later on and he cannot find something that he really needs, perhaps another page should be built or another filter should be added, because the whole goal of those reports is to be flexible and to answer and enable data-driven decision support. I know that I sometimes fall in love with my work and I'm kind of like, this is the perfect report. I finally optimize it. And then somebody needs just to drill down into by quarters and not by months. So this is a feedback I did not have because this is a new hire and he goes by quarters because he needs quarter seasonality and not by month seasonality. Just an example. So yeah, product manager is a good thing, is a good person to have in your organization. Just saying. Layouts. How do you divide your canvas? Once decided, consistency between reports. Alignment, left to right, right to left. Unless you are in the Middle East, I come from the Middle East, we write from right to left and not from left to right, like you guys write here. So for us, the most important part of the screen is right top and not left top. So it's a little different, but alignment and consistency in navigation and in your template is something that is extremely crucial, because if every time the user comes, the navigation is in another place, in another site, the titles are in the back, in the bottom, in the top, in the middle, the user doesn't know where to find you. So this is another thing that you should add to your visual guidance inside your organization. Consistency, cannot be the page 1 and page 2 of the same report. We have a report, we have operational metrics, and we have got calls number by assets. And this is just completely, you need to focus on one template and continue the same story, the same narrative. Think about it, you're choosing an outfit and suddenly your shoes are high heels and your outfit is jeans and torn shirt. I mean, it can work potentially, but you want some kind of a same theme around there. Branding. You have templates, report colors, color scheme, font, frame sizes, corporate layout. So my anime report cannot be part of Microsoft corporate report. Corporate backgrounds and guides, corporate themes can be added, and so on. So we can see a car dealership, and I specifically chose pastel colors for car dealership in here. Colors and titles, custom expression-based formatting. There is a tutorial around that, and also generating theme. So you can have expression-based formatting inside your report. So this is just one article from Power BI tips for generating report, a theme with everything you can basically add to the theme, to your custom theme. There is another one in the Microsoft website as well. It gives you a JSON file with the theme. And for those of you who are challenged with matching colors or don't know all the things that can be matched inside Power BI, nobody really remembers everything. So go ahead and use one of those tools in order to generate a theme and upload your theme to Power BI. And let's go next. So this was the link to this theme generator, and I placed the link in the middle of the page to show you one of the usability. For example, the only thing I wanted from this page is to link to this specific report. What a mistake I made. I did not put the title there, but I did convey the message. The only thing I wanted to say was basically linking to the page with the color theme generation, and this is the only thing that I put in here. So it's just for opening your mind about how a user interface can look. It's nothing else about here. Place user in control, and I've seen some in the chat about this. Self-service BI, so add interactive features, add drill downs in a glance. Users love drill downs. People need to see things in different granularity, so this is something you can do. A cluttered report, how many questions are answered here. You can go ahead and see that there are many questions that are answered here. Total number of logged tickets is one, how many critical tickets are open, how many non-criticals, tickets by severity, different system types, dates, and so on. So all of this is tickets by vulnerability. All of this is completely is very, very cluttered, and we don't really see all of it. Quantity versus visibility, so avoid clutter. 1 to 6 visualization as a default report. Remember the Gestalt rules, so this is the modification of them. 9 visualizations for reports with a visual language built in the organization. Remember the IT administrators page that they see in the help desk, everything they need to see. 1 business need or related question per page, 1 question per visual, no double access, and answered in a glance, of course. Size and font, size 3 maximum per report for the font sizes. Power BI has a different sizes for titles, text boxes, and charts. Pay attention what looks the same. So this is mostly no longer the case, but many custom visuals still struggle with that size of the fonts. And just pay attention that you are somewhere there. 1 font type per report, play with indent instead. Arial always look great. Not just Arial, you have Saigon and others that are more square-like. 60 point in titles or 12 point in graphs and tables. This would be the recommended because people tend to put font number 10 or number 8 even. Power BI allows number 8. And sometimes you can't really see this unless you have those sophisticated great screens. And 10 points for mobile. Again, make sure that you see it on the mobile. A lot of Q&A around mobile. You can have different type of font and different type of visual for mobile. Always create a separate mobile display and don't use the same. Mobile basic rules, goal-driven design. Mobile is usually something that's used in the field or somewhere else. Not always you have all the connectivity that you have got with your PC. So mobile users might be different. You have the manager of the entire company or the entire division that is sitting in his or her office, and you have the worksite manager who is supervising several trucks or several workers that are performing some kind of a job. And those are very different reports that you are going to create for them. So the mobile report will usually be created for the person in the field and should be eventually added value for them. Usability, rank your visuals and don't drag all of them automatically. So before we create in the mobile report, we usually have a lot of visuals that we want to accommodate for the drag in a big report. Rank them, select the ones that you want. Signifiers, identify the critical measures and emphasize them. You have even less real estate, even less space on the mobile screen. Identify what really needs to be shown. Be mindful of performance. Again, internet might be a little slower until things are loading into your cache in your mobile. You might not have enough, even sufficient mobile memory in order to upload all the pictures. So, think about it when you are designing your report. And mobile different colors and schemes. So they place the active items in the active zone. So this would be the active zone for the mobile, and not the top right. The top right and the top left are less usable as opposed to what we are going through in our usual screens. And prioritize accordingly and place the navigation accordingly. Think about also the color contrast should be a lot more, because as you can see, the wonderful cell phone as a mirror feature that you have got whenever the sun is glaring out there. Okay, what have we got here? We have got probably some people. Oh, wow. Uh, Thank you. I'd say even bigger, 18 to 20 titles, 14 to 16 for text. Yes, Gina, you are right. It really depends on organization and which type of screens you are getting. I chose to put there the minimum because people put even less and because they want to cram more and more things into your Power BI report. And so this is a decision that should be conveyed and the same throughout your organization. So thank you for this note. Yes, Fernando, when is going to present? Yes, when is Gina going to present? Next presentation by Gina. When I have, okay, which is a good deal. Okay, presented. Okay, I had before. Virtual, okay. I had before a question, when did I start with Power BI? So I started with Power BI in the beta version back in 2015, 2016. Yeah, it was my first presentation in a SharePoint user group. You guys remember SharePoint is a thing or is still a thing? And I was part of SharePoint user group. Then we, as a group manager, we decided to make it the Office 365 user group. And so, yeah, I'm with Power BI basically from its beta prototype in 2015. All right, how to pick visualization. Before that, I did SQL and I did the report designer in SharePoint. And when I seen Power BI, I'm kind of like, hallelujah, because report builder in SharePoint was not easy. Okay. How to pick the right data visualization. Of course, we don't have time, but stick around, whoever wants to. So first of all, do not use pie charts. Ouch, my eyes, Cecilia. Yes, yes, yes. I love this slide. This is a slide I created, and use the Gestalt, add tooltip, add data labels, avoid unnecessary lines and color, and you need to make all in one glance. So for this beautiful visualization, we don't even know here what is the largest group, the black or the yellow. Only the right slide tells you that the larger group is the yellow than the black. Those two in the middle, both the donut chart and pie chart are not conveying the information correctly. So this is a very, very big problem, of course. So avoid yes, avoid this at all costs. You need to understand what is the data that you are seeing. You can't just watch it and think that because it looks pretty, that's how it's supposed to be. The left chart, the leftmost chart, is something that I simply don't understand. It's just putting all the grids in here, like why it was created, other than well, no, I really don't understand why it was created, because you don't really see anything or any data is conveyed, but things were created this way. So what we wanted to do here is number of requests by priority in this specific graph. And you see that the urgent are colored in red. The rest is in black. So you know exactly where your eyes should drift when you see this type of requests. And also the numbers are right there. And you can see the numbers of how many requests of each type you have got. However, there is a small error on this report. I should have added in black the numbers for after checkout low and add to maintenance schedule, because those are numbers important too. So there is some problem there, even if it's like 1 or 5 or 50, and it's not as significant as 2,000 or 443 urgent requests. So this is up to your choice if you want to focus on those numbers too or not. So this one more tip. Not only bar chart. So we propaganda, don't use pie chart, don't use bar chart. So people were like, okay, so what should I use? Bar chart all the way, everything bar chart, bar chart, bar chart, maybe an occasional pyramid. So now you have area maps that are very, very useful and easy to use. You have, for example, heat maps and other types of maps that can be conveyed. There is a lot of geographical data that can be placed on the map, and you don't need to put for example, the country or the city as part of your data visualization. You only put actual data that one needs to be there. Okay, and really like conditional formatting. Yes, conditional formatting is something that we use quite a lot, and I'll have a slide on it. Yeah, I'll have finished my time because I was told to take my time. Sorry about that. How do you handle the data bar labeling when it's too tiny to fit in? Default to change the position? Yes, default change position to the end, or decide that it is not important enough, or you could change, for example, the data bars to be gray and the writing to be black, and then you will have all the data points there as well, because the data points are there, they're just in white. Hope I answered. You may use top n plus other. You may just a second. You may user top n plus others. Yes, this is also a option. It depends really on your business question and what exactly you want to answer here. Only top n. You may not don't need even this type of data, and you only need the ones that you have mentioned previously. Scattered, discover outliers, clear insights, and use color in scatter to emphasize the clusters. So scatters is used both for outliers and for clusters. This is another visualization that is heavily used, and many people would like to, and it conveys the data, so not only bar charts. Scatter plot is also understandable in one glance, as long as you use the colors sufficiently. If you had here 50 clusters, however, I would probably not use it in this way, but we'll choose something else to do instead. And we all understand why 50 clusters won't work here with this specific one. We might choose a different granularity. We might group the runs by different clusters or anything else. What are the custom visuals and where can we find them? So we all know the custom visual gallery. It is in our Power BI desktops, and we also have them in the store. Also, we have a visual about visuals, so look for it in the data story gallery. It's a visual that contains, and they keep updating it, at least the last time I checked. It's a visual that contains all the visuals, and it also has a grid system that ranks all those custom visuals. So instead of just going from visual to visual to visuals, you have all the descriptions and them clustered and grouped, so you can go ahead and educate yourself which visual you would rather use when you use your custom visuals. And there are even 2 reports like this. So I challenge you to go to our data story gallery and check them. Accessibility, we talked about it before, and I'm happy that we did talk about it before. One of the things that we do in the advanced data visualization is go ahead and map the custom visual into groups and think about which type of scenarios we will use each of the custom visuals. We don't explore all the custom visuals. I simply took some things that are kind of connected and conveyed the message around them. So one more commercial for advanced data visualization. So report accessibility. We use different marker shapes for each line. Don't rely on color to convey information because there are people who might be colorblind. Shades working great. Shades of blue, shades of gray, they are working great because everybody can see this type of contrast. Also bold or not bold for titles instead of different colors for titles. Pick an intentional sort order for each visual on your report. When screen reader will read them from left to right and from top to bottom. And if you pick intentional order, just like you pick in your PowerPoint slide when you have check accessibility, the same idea with Power BI when you are checking whatever is there. So I know that we are out of time. I will still, for those of you, I am sure that most of you do know this, but just slide that I wanted to go here, and we have got the view, and we have this review, sorry, here review, check accessibility. This button will check the accessibility of this specific slide. Yes, I will drink water, I promise. It's check accessibility in the specific presentation. There is no feature like this still. There is no feature like this in Power BI. I don't know if there's any going to be, but think about when you are building your Power BI report, think about checking the accessibility of this report as well with the same rules. Right. Now I don't know where I was. Wonderful. Okay, we are like 5 minutes after time. Are we sticking around or what we are doing?
I'm having such a great time. I don't know if,
okay, let's stick around. No problem then.
if the rest wants to
let's
stay.
Yeah, whoever stays, I'm here. Okay, it's up to you guys because we really after time. So for sure, I'm paying attention, man. That's good, Fernando.
For those who need to leave, we will be publishing the presentation to YouTube. So
yeah,
you don't miss out anything.
So yes, this is so I can't publish it on the mic. We need closed captions to be part of the presentation, of course. Thank you guys. It was thank you for participating. Also, it's great. Sometimes online it's not happening, so it's good. So let me continue. This is really important. You are right, Raj. The accessibility, especially. So if you, I will probably finish in a few minutes. Just wanted to acknowledge that people's time is important, and if you need to go, so completely understand. You have my Twitter, you have my LinkedIn, you have my email. If there are any questions, I will be happy to answer those. So make sure you report a select theme that is high contrast. So the yellow and black that you see on all the accessibility page is for a reason. It's because of the high contrast of the theme. And make sure your report have sufficient contrast between text and the background color. So the best is yellow and black, but not everybody can be yellow and black. So there are tools out there that are very helpful to detect this type of contrast. Use meaningful titles for all report pages. We talked about this, and this is very important for accessibility as well. And report accessibility, this is where there are some themes that you can actually choose that use in high contrast. And this is in your Power BI menu. And this is where I show where exactly it is in your Power BI menu. So you can make your report high contrast, even if you already chose a theme, and Power BI will do it for you. It might be less friendly to your organization team, but you need to find the right compromise around this. Alternative text, as I said, it is also in the tools together with all the rest of the visual things, the visual things that you can change inside your visualization. So simply add an alternative text to your visual and you will help a lot of people to gain access to the report successfully. So the most accessible report is right here. It has the contrast, it has the titles, it has the visuals in a specific order, and it has the alternative text for each report, for each visual. Is it the best report for data-driven decision support? Not sure. We need to think about business questions and other things. Is this report looks very general? Yes. So it's always about finding the right fit for your organization and for your clients, and also maybe having another version that is more accessible for the organization and for you as the report designer to decide. So how should I learn? First of all, I would like to introduce Megan. Megan Longoria has a great blog from Blue Granite. In addition to the page that we have explored together for creating reports that are accessible by Power BI reports and visualization in Power BI reports, Megan's content is also extremely important, and we work a lot with her to make sure that reports are accessible. So go ahead. There are other people in Twitter that are leading this type of accessibility. And give me a second. So there we go. So you can always go Power BI accessible report in addition to what we have in docs, because we have all the information in docs. But in addition, you go ahead, go Power BI and accessibility, and you will find a for Moo and the summits and people from MSFT that are doing a lot of accessibility. And of course, Amazon News had to be there, but it is sponsored. Nothing I can do about that. So go to Twitter is also a good place for you to start and connect with Power BI, other Power BI advocates. So here we have a full comparison of the custom Power BI visuals. I never actually do it during the presentations. I do it in the advanced data visualization. The newest visual is one of the synoptics visual, and those visuals are created by Charticulator. And the Charticulator visual tool is a separate tool for Power BI, it's a third party. And I would recommend, if you want to create visuals before you actually go ahead and create a full-fledged Power BI visual, go to Charticulator. You might be able to create some of it there, which is easier. How to build your own data visual, a custom data visual. Those are the instructions. You go to GitHub and you build your own custom visual. To tell the truth, it's not easy, but it's worth it. It's fun, the thing to do. All right, let's go performance report. And we have got a performance report for our governance, and this can help you when you are creating your visuals and also inspire you to create visuals of your own. So this is our final diet report and advanced data visualization, everything that we'll be learning about during the course. If you would like to go ahead and train the course, it would be amazing for you to download it from our AKA site of Power BI Advanced Visualization Instructor and attendees and train it. So basically, what I would like to just summarize something. So build a pretty report is not a spec. So whenever you get specs like this, and I got specs like this as a consultant before I joined Microsoft, is not a spec. You need to answer a business question, and this is the most important thing in any type of report. It doesn't matter if you're doing visualization or anything else. Use simplicity as your guidance, choose the right visual to your business question, and always think what is the decision you want to support with your data. So, right, so I will stop presenting my slides. Any additional questions? Yeah. Mike Carlo, I believe, and there are other things that are here. Perfect. That's okay. You can go ahead. If there are any additional events that you guys want to publish or blogs, let's go.
When is this? August 11. Great.
Yeah,
Next
it's
week.
on August 11th. Yep, next month.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Awesome.
Thank you for sharing.
Sure, thank you. And Yana, thank you for your presentation. It was awesome.
Yes.
Really, really good.
Yes. You need to present this more, I think. People will be very happy to see this.
Sure. Advanced data visualization in a day. I believe that all of you, most of you present here, can go ahead, download it, and create your own presentation and course. People pay a lot of money to participate in those type of courses. So especially now that everything is online, it's very easy. Just saying.
Yes.
All right.
So
Thank you, guys.
Those courses that you shared, we can use those to download and teach. That's okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's okay. That's exactly what they are for. There are what we want in return is feedback and surveys, and know when are you guys teaching, just for us to know if we need to maintain those courses or not, because we want to maintain the courses that are actually used.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
I think
All right.
Yes. So I know my question might be redundant in a way. We had a user group session in the morning with Adam and Patrick, and I asked something similar. So I don't know if somebody here was present in that one, but I think all the content you show us today is great. I think the scope for what you cover, it's very, very broad, many different aspects considered in here. And I'm just trying to go on my head about trying to cover everything that is related to Power BI, because this is one aspect that is visible on the front end, but there are other aspects on the data per se, like all those great ideas from Matthew Roche on data culture and everything. So in the morning, I was talking about that, how do one get up to date with Power BI. It's just too much sometimes. It's just like you need to pick a lane. Like you are either good on data collection, data modeling, visualizations, administration. I'm an administrator for the company I work for. I try to be on top of the game, but it's very hard. And so my question to you after that background for my comment is, how do you guys, Microsoft, try to settle down the idea for Power BI for the different organizations that we use it? Because it's very broad at sometimes. It's just too many angles to cover.
So first of all, for my aspect, I can answer you that we have instructor-led training. There are 10 different courses only about Power BI. So obviously, I'm not expert in DAX as much as Matthew Roche, for example, but or obviously we have other extremely Chris Webb and other people who are more talented in this, and we have got Justina who is doing the AI. So I can be dangerous in AI, but I'm not getting up to those levels. So it really depends what are you choosing and how are you also progressing whatever you are doing. As an administrator, I first of all would recommend you to go through the admin in a day course and to make sure that you have all the things, all the dot crossed there. And I agree, it is impossible, and this is why we have different courses and also different people in the organization, and we need visual guidance and people who come to Power BI, because Power BI is out there 5 years, 6 years now. So people who come to Power BI from SharePoint will be more about the visual and about the governance and about things like that. People who come from development will create great APIs. People who come as DBAs, they will go for the SQL and the DAX inside it and so on. So there are, thank you, Cecilia. There are a lot of categories and a lot of things that are inside this tool, just like any other tool. And I was a Power BI MVP. I focused on visualizations, I focused on governance, but I also had a lot of things around the DAX and around other things and around the data. So for me, it was about model efficiency and about how to do the whole pipeline. This was interesting for me. I was less focused in the more heavier AI aspect, and I was less focused on how to make the DAX query very, very beautiful. It worked. It's okay. So it really depends what is your focus there.
Yeah, I guess in a way you're supporting my statement that you need to pick a lane. You need to specialize in something and try to be as good as possible on that thing that you're most passionate about.
It's about the job market. Before I joined Microsoft, I was a consultant, and sometimes I had to go through data analysis and do that. Sometimes data pipeline that I liked, and sometimes I just built reports. So it really depends. So I educated myself when I needed.
Yes, that's true. Thank you.
Okay, I've heard the DBA issues can get fixed easily with chocolate biscuits. Yeah, like DBA is the chocolates. For developers is pizza. Both like Coca-Cola. Oh, cola, sorry. So I guess we have one thing in common.
Awesome. So if there are no more questions, I will stop the recording, but I wanted to say thank you very much for this presentation. It was amazing having you here and this content.